Hi, here we are with homework number 2 for Psychology, Child Growth and Development. And we are going to compare and contrast two developmental stage theorists. But, as you see, I have three guys up here. One is Erikson. One is Freud. And the other is our friend Piaget. Piaget. There we go, Piaget. Okay, so let's see. So you're going to compare Erikson to either Freud or Piaget. Here we have talking about Erik Erikson. And what I want you to do is create a PowerPoint. This is your homework. This is your little project. Don't use Google Slides. Canvas won't let me see Google Slides. So please use a PowerPoint or a PDF, something like that. You're going to show Erikson's 8 stages of development. And you can look those up. And I want you to say what age the people are at those stages, and I want you to give a really short explanation of what that stage is. So when you say generativity versus stagnation, I want you to say that means the person is going through this, or their crisis is this. I want you to give a little explanation. And even though we don't cover all of Erikson's stages in child development, I still want you to list them all because they're great and you'll always use them. So you're going to either compare Erikson to Freud or Piaget. So you are going to look at Piaget because that's who you picked. You already did Erikson, now you're going to review Piaget. And you're going to show his 4 stages of development. And I want you to say the ages the children are at those stages, and then I want you to give a little example of what you mean by that stage that that child is in at 9 years old. What are concrete operations, things like that? What do you mean by that? A little explanation. Or maybe you did Erikson already and you'd rather do Freud, and you're going to list his 5 stages of development. And they aren't subconscious, unconscious, superego, id, ego. It's not any of that. There's actually stages, right? The first one is oral. Yeah. So those stages, I want you to list those, the ages the children are at those stages, and then give me a little explanation of what you mean by oral stage. What is the child going through? What are they developing? How are they learning? Things like that. Then the next part is you're going to compare Erikson to whoever you chose, Freud or Piaget. And so that means you're going to say what's similar between Erikson's theory and Freud's theory, or Erikson's theory and Piaget's theory. And then you're going to contrast Erikson to Freud, Erikson to Piaget. So that means you're going to say what's different between the theories. You'll probably have more of what's different between Erikson and Freud or Erikson and Piaget. And then you want it to be well organized. You want it to be a little creative. I mean, you see my PowerPoint it has some pictures. It's got some color, you know, just something a little creative. And then also, the last thing, you would include a reference page. So since you probably didn't make up all the steps to Freud's theories, where did you find it? Did you find it in the textbook? Did you find it in the internet? And so I want you to list a reference page of where you found that information. It's always a good idea to number the reference page. So you would put child, our textbook, as 1, and you set it up like this, how I've put it here, the author's last name, their first name, things like that. And then you're going to say, oh, but I went to the internet too, and so then you would put that one as number 2 and put that, the title of the website there, and the URL of where you found your information. And then not only are you creating a reference page, but just so this is academic, you're going to put the reference inside of your project. So say you found Freud's theories in our textbook, which is number 1 on your reference page. You're going to put, after Freud's theory, a little number 1 to show that, you know, I didn't make it up. I actually researched it and I found it someplace, and this is where I found it. And that makes this very academic. It's always a really good idea to even start with looking at the rubric. So as you see, you get 10 points for explaining Freud or Piaget's theory, 10 points for Erikson's theory, comparing the theories, 10 points, contrasting, 10 points, the quality and how creative you were, 5 points, and then 5 points for your reference page and knitting in those references through your project. And that's 50 points. And you can also present your project. So you would set that up just like you are telling the class about your project. So maybe you would do a voice thread. Maybe you could do a PowerPoint with audio where you narrate your slides. Maybe you could take a video of yourself explaining your PowerPoint. However it's going to come across that it's like you're in front of the class presenting your project very simply to the class. And you can get 5 extra points for that. So it's optional, you don't have to, but altogether you could get 55 points if you did the presentation too. So I hope you have fun. And again, I'm always liking for you to gather the information, do something with it so that it'll stick in your hopefully long-term memory and you'll remember these stage theorists throughout your career. Thank you.